Hey guys, welcome to our channel. So, I told John Kennedy I would try to show our pattern the best I can. No, I don't have a chalkboard, and we talked about that last night. My fiance and I got suggested a couple times, and we thought about investing in one, but we pictured that we'd have to have like a wall full and ladders. If anybody ever saw that commercial where dude was doing the formula up on the ladder, and he had a whole wall full of chalkboards, and he's up on a ladder doing part of his equation, and somebody's down below his ladder erasing bottom. That's what we pictured, because for all this you'd need a ton of boards, but getting one and doing category by category would be good. All right, so I'm going to try this. So we'll start. Well, let me start by saying there's a pattern. As soon as we can run forwards and backwards through 9 different categories. All right, that's a pattern right there, because the random letters did not do that anyway. All right, so that's pattern one. The fact they will even do that and seamlessly through them is sometimes. All right, so that's pattern one. That establishes a pattern, even if there was no other pattern to establish. But there's more, and the stock market, it just runs through the stock market, guys. I came out here because the lighting's better, and I'm hoping, like, it just runs through the stock market, okay? And the guess, of course, being that, um, you know, whoever's running the quantum calculation has some investment in the stock market, possibly in some of the things that they're calculating. And I suppose I should start with your basic. You pull the, like in Guns N' Roses, broken to troubled. All you had broken changed to troubled, right? And you cross off the B because it's still in troubled. You cross off the R because it's still in troubled. You cross off the O because it's still in troubled. Here, uh, and you cross off the E because it's still in troubled, and you're left with KNTULD. And so you bring KNTULD down and ever change to never. So you just cross off ever, and you're left with this N. So you put the N at the end, and you got KNTULDN. All right, and we run that through 8 categories, 9 categories maybe now. And I'll show you, as you do, you start to get a pattern. And in this case, I mean, there was some stuff circled up here, but it became fairly apparent that Nanyang comes up in this search. And mind you, Texas University does not, and you'll see that we run that TU, and you see that we come up with a whole page of stuff here, and you notice there's Nanyang again, along with a couple of other things. But TU ends up being 2UU research group in this. Nothing at Texas University came up. All right. And then when you go on to the next, that was research groups. And if you go to finance, here they are again, Nanyang Technological University. And TU ends up being TELUS Corp on Yahoo Finance as opposed to Texas University. So, and TELUS Corp ended up being in the stock market search. So maybe someone at Nanyang has investments in TELUS Corp. Possible. And TU was also TU Financial. but no Texas. All right. So you see there is a pattern. This runs through and you get lots of stuff. I'm not going to go through it again. But you see, you get lots of stuff, lots of stuff. And then here's Nan Yang again. This is for Guns N' Roses Better, by the way. So there's Nan Yang again. And once again, there you do have TU, University of Texas. You get a University of Texas hit there, but you saw that we didn't before. And in this case, this is random hits, and you go through and you once again get a whole bunch of random stuff. And when you type in this code, we're typing in the code, guys, running the letters in the code. And once again, Nanyang Technological University. So it came up every time besides the stock market. But you see, Texas University does not consistently come up. You got Townsend University. You got U in Spanish. UL Underwriters Laboratory as opposed to University of Louisiana or something. So within these you get a pattern. And then of course we do the translations and turn everything into numbers where Nanyang stops coming up every time, but they do. That's your pattern. You're looking, and I'm going to show another example, by the way. That's not all I'm going to show. And I'm sorry for the crudeness of this, but from KNTULDN, you get pages and pages of information, and Nanyang Technological University comes up over and over. And that's why we ran the gematria. And we'll get to that. But that's why we ran it, because it came up over and over and over. It was a pattern. The whole thing's a pattern. You got to look for the pattern within the pattern. And sometimes it's not that obvious. Stovetop, not that obvious. We had to go, a ways out of our way. Not out of our way, but we had to think outside the box. Let's put it that way. Why would that be? All right. We'll show you the stovetop too. I know, John, you'd said that, one would be good, but we're going to show multiple. And it's hard. But once again, you got Stofers to craft for stovetop, and you cross off all the like letters, the T that's over here in craft, the F that's over here in craft, and the R that's over here in craft. You're left with SOUFESKA. And so you bring SOUFESKA down over here, and you run that forwards and backwards. And again, stock market, you just get stock market stuff. But as soon as you get into genetics, there's fever of unknown origin. Now, there's also these universities that come up, and usually it's a university you're looking at. But in this case, I noticed that these universities were coming up over and over and over, which tells me they have similar programs. All right? They all have similar programs. You can see they're circled as you go. Not sure that this ain't another. Yeah, starting about here, you got the medical category going forwards. And once again, all these universities come up, and if you go down here, you're coming back, you end up with fever of unknown origin again. And all that. And the universities, again, are similar. And that's not always the case, as we just showed. In Guns N' Roses Better, those universities did not have similar programs. They did not come up every time. Only Nanyang did. And in this case, these universities have similar programs, and after they started coming up over and over, here's fever of unknown origin again. I started to wonder, why are all these universities coming up over and over and over? And my answer was, well, they have similar programs, clearly. And that would tell me that somebody else on this list is hi, baby. That somebody else on this list is calculating those universities. But all we had was fever of unknown origin in this case that stood out as the pattern. It showed up over and over. It showed up in medical, genetic, and here it is in finance. It showed up in finance search. And it showed up again in laboratories search, which is where I decided to look and find out who may be studying the fever of unknown origin, which was where I found tertiary care hospital in Odisha, India. Now you can put that into every search. That's who's studying it. That's who's got cases of it. And again, throughout the next search, I think we got research groups. And once again, here's your fever of unknown origin. Among all this stuff. And again, 2 more times. Fever of unknown origin, fever of unknown origin. Tertiary care hospital. The gematria then matched. And then, of course, we turn it into numbers and see if anything changes our mind. Throughout the numbers, going through forwards and backwards through the categories, you get some more information that way. So once we get to the end of the numbers, we go back through, if we haven't figured it out already, and try to figure out what fits the pattern, what's there over and over and over that could be running the calculations. In this case, it was fever of unknown origin. In the last case, it was Nanyang. In the case of Pretty Tied Up by Guns N' Roses, rock and roll band to rock and low band, it ended up being Nanyang. But nothing is obvious. I didn't find that until I got to research groups and I was thinking there was no pattern. And then I realized that, one of these research groups is Nanyang. There you have it. You can NTU. You could put then NTU into every search. A code within the code. We found that before. Remember, Karma, Karmma, with those capitalized letters. So yes. So you get that, and you got a pattern there, and I can't show it much better. And then if you go, and we did this once again for all of the effects, including a whole list of, and you see the 4 ciphers. You run it through that calculator, you get 4 base ciphers. We did the Montauk Project, Masonic Temple, because Masonic Temple and quantum change is synonymous in 3 of the 4 ciphers. We did that for everything. And I'll point out, and these do make a pattern. If you see everything here, let's just look at 25. Everything in 25 came from other Mandela effects. They're connected to other effects. They're connected to each other. And how are they connected to each other? They're connected to themselves, I should say. Well, let's take a look. Stofers and stuffing match in 2 of the 4 ciphers, and it's the same ciphers. They're right here. They're right here. 39 and 114, and 39 and 114 up here. Stofers and stuffing match. Stofers used to make it. But then E. Michael Moon matches in the same cipher, 118, with Heinz Kraft, or Kraft Heinz, excuse me. So that connects Stofers to Kraft right there. And then everything else falls into place. So we connect all these effects through the gematria calculator, assuming and theorizing that the Freemasons designed some of these quantum computers. And any calculation that these computers run will use a gematria algorithm, and anything they change in reality, because that's the other thing I should mention, these quantum changes, quantum computers operate in reality as opposed to the internet. So they're changing something in reality. They're changing the lyrics to a song. They're changing Stouffer's to craft, whatever it takes. Sometimes it's a very small change, as we found on our charts with our formula. Uh, oh man, maybe I'm not going to show the chart. I don't remember if it was in here. I got a lot of papers and a lot of stuff here. Right here. Here's our new chart. So we're putting the stuff in it. We're putting the changes in a chart like this. I know it's getting harder to see, but then we can highlight it, and those were both less than 1%. That was Guns N' Roses Better and Guns N' Roses Pretty Tied Up, both under 1%. And to get that, you take change equals variance percent times the words in the title plus the words in the song. Then you got to count the lyrics in the song and add it to the words in the title and divide the changes by the title plus the song, or the words in the song plus the title. And then you got to move that decimal place 2 places over, and that gets you your percentage, variance percentage. That tells you how much the song varied from its original form. And we can put that in a chart. And there is a pattern to that. Maybe I'll link my stained It's Been a While, because I just linked that for somebody yesterday. Colorado Skywatch, I believe, and I might link that to show another chart. You can look at it. There's also some pretty cool evidence in there for a Mandela effect. So the pattern, in summary, there's multiple patterns. There's the pattern that it goes through forwards and backwards through the categories, and the random letters did not. And there's also the pattern of what comes up over and over and over through each search. And not all, and that doesn't, not everything does. You get like I showed, Texas University did not come up typing TU in every search. It just didn't. Sometimes you got Tulsa University, sometimes you got TELUS Corp on the stock market, but you didn't get Texas University necessarily. But you did get Nanyang over and over and over and over, no matter what you type. Same with fever of unknown origin, which is connected to tertiary care hospital in Odisha, India. So those are your patterns. That's what you're looking for. I highlighted it. You're just looking for something that sticks out, that comes up over and over throughout the search. And everything you want to know should be in those changes, assuming a quantum computer did it. And like I said, we don't think a quantum computer caused all the changes. No, we don't. But we do think that a quantum computer caused a lot of the changes, because there's quite a few quantum computers. If there were back in 2016 or 2017, there were no less than 12 quantum computers operating in no less than 7 different realities apiece. That was then. So you could assume there's more now. That's a lot of realities. That's a lot of quantum computing. And if there's more now than there were then, that's even more. And every time they run a calculation, it's going to change something to leave that code. Whatever that change may be, that's going to match. That's what it's going to do. So that it runs its algorithm. All right. And if you can take the changes, the direct changes, and you can see what's in them, you can convert them to numbers and see what's in them, you can convert them to binary and see what's in them. And you can pick a pattern out, and you can find somebody that looks like it sticks out, or they stick out. And it wasn't always that way. We did find Perry Stone Ministries through translations. Give the money to your stone. Type that into the Google search, and we came to Perry Stone Ministries donation site, and the gematria matched. So it's not always that simple. That's why we do translations. Sometimes it's a gem hidden in the translations. You never know. So But I hope this helps. If this does not help, let me know, and I will try to do it differently. And we've ran it 20 minutes, but I wasn't trying to worry about the length. I was trying to worry about presenting the pattern, and I hope I've done that. I've showed two of our effects that we've done. A lot of them are in a box, in folders. Not really sure which box where, but um, when we get moved, we'll be digging all that stuff out, and I'll be able to present all that if need be. And we were working on the Bible decode when we got cut off and had to box all of our stuff. So, you know, but I hope this helps. Let me know if it doesn't. Um, I guess thumb up if it helps. Comment if you need me to try to present this in a different way yet, and I will do just that. Like I said, I'd rather have people understand it because that's what's really going to help. That's what helps me, and I'll say what I made in a comment, like those songs by Guns N' Roses, better. The hardest part this troubled heart has never yet been through now was so bizarre that I couldn't listen to it without shaking my head. I wondered why. Well, now I know. Nanyang Technological University made a calculation, and the quantum computer changed those two words. Under 1%, guys. About a half a percent was all that the song changed. That's it. 0.51 or 0.52% for GNR better, and even less than that for the rock and low band, as opposed to the rock and roll band, and pretty tied up. All right? Under 1%. It doesn't have to make a big change to leave a huge code. And some of our percentages, we did have 2% variances. We did have 3% variances. We did have like a 5% variance, pushing a 6% in some cases in some of these songs that we found. But even that is still under 10%. And a lot of them are under 1%. So it doesn't take a big change to leave a big code. And we'll find out when we do I Love Rock and Roll. 3 letters. That's it. And that won't be the biggest code, but if it was done with a quantum computer, it will definitely leave a code, and we'll get to the bottom of it. So binary's next. All right, we're going to run binary through Stofers here. Stovetop, Stovers to Craft will do the binary. I already started that, but now I'm trying to explain it, the pattern. So probably not today, maybe tomorrow or the next day we'll get that other video out for starting the binary. So let us know if this does not help, and we will try to present this in another way. I hope it does. I sure wish I could do a live stream, and hopefully when we get moved, that'll be a thing we can do. Then I can answer questions in real time. So that's going to be it for this one. For now, thanks for all your thumbs up, thumbs down when appropriate. Thanks for all your comments, leads, feedback, and subscriptions. And if you haven't checked out the Costco one that I did before this, you might go check that out. That was kind of interesting. It went from Costco to Costco back. And what I was going to mention in that other video, if anybody's still with me, was me and my fiance. The very last time we drove by that very store, looked at the Costco sign, Costco, and looked at each other and laughed and said Costco because we knew it was a Mandela effect. And we drove by it today, and we were like, "Whoa, it's Costco now!" Like that's what it's supposed to be. What? So you might want to check that out. So anyway, guys, I hope this helps. Thanks for watching. Let us know. And for now, you guys have a great rest of your evening.